Do not fall in love with bar girls. That's going to be the topic on this little talk on tonight's show. Welcome. Are you chatting with a bar girl? Did you walk into a bar and fall in love? It was love at first sight. Well, you're not going to be, and you're not the first one that's happened to. Trust me. So I'm going to have an informal discussion. I've done these talks before, somewhere in the 2,000 and something videos and, 10,000 or 20, whatever hours of footage on this channel. But I just did a video about dating a Filipino, what to expect. And I realized that I should update anything that I've said in the past to keep it fresh. This is an article I wrote on my website. It's over, let's say 10 years old, somewhere in there, maybe coming up on 10 years old. Do not fall in love with bar girls, strippers, or hookers. I was gonna soften up the language of this video just to keep it from getting, limited ads, whatever, but it's hard to do. First of all, what's a bar girl? What's a bar girl? It's a softened term for stripper slash hooker. Let's just come out and say it. They got different terminology for them, but if you meet a girl and she's dancing on a pole and there's money involved, it all means the same, right? Don't kid yourself. Why am I doing this video? Because there's a never-ending supply of men from the West who, got divorced. You're divorced, you're down on your luck. Nobody in America will give you the time of day. Somebody says, hey man, go down to Mexico. Hey, go to Central America. Go to the Ukraine. Go to Southeast Asia. And you end up meeting one of the most beautiful girls you've ever met in your entire life. Actually talks to you. And then you get blinded. And then you lose all your money because you were blinded by beauty. It makes you do stupid things. So this is an educational video, men's health video, basically a men's mental health video. So all my ladies out there are some lessons after this down into the comments that were left back when I had comments turned on. So there are some counseling / mental health points that are brought up by other ladies. There's something in here for you too. The typical story. You just got a divorce in the US and cannot find a girl. Someone suggests you take a trip to the Philippines. Now, I'm in the Philippines right now, but you can substitute Philippines for Guatemala, Colombia, Venezuela, wherever, right? You're going to leave the United States or leave the UK or leave Australia, or the women there, I don't think they're these days are interested in dating much of nobody really. Either way, someone suggests you take a trip, go international. You have no idea what you're getting into because you didn't read any of my articles or do any research on the Philippines or the country you're going to. You stop by a go-go bar in Angeles City, Subic Bay, or Manila. There's one of the most beautiful girls you've ever laid eyes on dancing on a pole. Pole. That should be clue number one, that if you meet the love of your life while she's dancing on a pole, there's a pretty good percentage that it's not going to end well. Does it happen? Of course it does. But there's a greater probability that that girl on the pole is not going to turn out to be the wonderful housewife that you would see on Leave It to Beaver or the Brady Bunch. She's on a pole. You buy her a drink and she sits down right next to you. A lot of y'all out there listening to my voice have never had, I'm just going to keep it real, you've never had a perfect 10. Even sit next to you or get a hug or a kiss, much less sleep with her, right? Many of you out there ain't probably broke a 5. That's just the way it is. And here you go abroad and a perfect 10 sits right next to you. The first time you do it, you're just like, what is going on here? What is happening? It's like you stepped into the twilight zone. You know, however old you are, you're 50 years old, this chick's 22, perfect 10, all interested in you. You're not prepared for that. You are not prepared for that. You've never had a conversation with a girl this hot before and can't believe she seems interested in you. She seems like she's interested in you because that's her job. Her job is to entertain you, to entertain clients, customers. They call you a customer. Hate to break this to you, but when you walk into a bar, no matter what your conversation is with the girl, what your relationship is that night, short term, several days, or what have you, the girls behind your back refer to you as a customer. You're not their boyfriend, you're not their friend, you're a customer. And that cuts deep because they hide that fact from you. If you've never been here and you come over here for 1 week, you're probably not going to hear that term. They're going to keep it hidden from you. You're a customer. You're not the boyfriend. You're nothing more than a customer. Okay? They have another term for you if you try to stay around longer than being a customer, and it gets even worse, so stay tuned. She tells you that she's from a small village in the province. She had a local guy for a boyfriend. She got pregnant, and Tonyo, the father, ran away. Going to give you a sad story, which not all, but a lot of them are single moms. They're going to tell you that story, tell you about how they had no other choices. There's no jobs in the province. Lay this big ass sad story, and there are elements of truth to it. But there's also the biggest element is choice. Dancing on that pole is their chosen profession. Their jobs in this country, maybe not way out in her village, she's got to go to a major city and get a job. There are jobs. They're not as plentiful as in America, but if a girl wants to find a normal job, she can find a job. So there's an element of choice that, in my opinion, that's why they're there. Yeah, there's some necessity, but it's choice and almost an element of laziness because they're going to make more money for less work than if they had to go work in a factory making drill bits for 12 hours a day. Okay? So you're going to get this sad story. She has no money to take care of her baby. They're going to focus on that. It's going to start pulling your heartstrings about the child. Okay? Her cousin is working in Angeles City and told her to come up there. Translation, her sister's working in the bar on the pole. And she said, yeah, come on up here. I just made X amount of pesos, whatever. I'll get you a job. Come on. And you go to most of these bars around the world. A girl just didn't run away from home or get trafficked and they end up dancing on a pole. Does that happen? Of course it does. But the majority is somebody in their family was working at the bar. they turn 18, 19, what have you. Hey, come on up here and work. It's just a cycle. You'll go to these bars. There'll be sisters working there, cousins, or the auntie is an older chick or the waitress, and she told the niece to come up there. The media and the propaganda likes to make it out to be a lot more sinister than it really is, in my opinion. When you go in there, were those girls, this big scary word called traffic, what the fuck does that mean? They came up there on their own volition, their own choice. But did they have a family member that were already working there? Yeah, a lot of them do. That's how they get there. Her cousin is working, let's see. She has only been working in the bar for 2 months and misses her family so much. Now, you know how when cops stop a drunk and first question you ask, how many beers have you had? Oh, I had 2 beers. That's the universal answer for anybody who's been drinking and driving and they get stopped and they get asked that question. 2 beers. And really the dude had 20. A lot of these chicks, from day one, they're trained, coached, mentored on how to get their hooks into you. And one of the things, especially if the chicks are younger, 20s, what have you, they go with the story, oh, I've been here 2 weeks. I just got here. I just got here 2 weeks ago, a week ago. And you're like, oh, this girl, she's not really a hardcore bar girl. I can save her. This might be girlfriend potential. She's only been here a week, or she just got here yesterday. It's all bola. They know you're going to be here for 1 week, 2 weeks with a pocket full of money, and it's just part of the line. It's just part of the lie. So if she tells you she's been here 2 weeks or 2 days or 2 months, the girl been there for a year. All right. She misses her family. She hates working in the bar, just wants to go home. She can't go home because she has to support everyone. Her entire monthly salary is only about $200 US. A tear rolls down your cheek. I know I've done this video before because I remember doing this. Suddenly you become Captain Save-A-Ho to the rescue. Now, to save time,
set free by the teen angels from his prehistoric block of glacial ice, comes the world's first superhero, Captain Caveman. But what I want you to do is say the words, Captain Save-A-Ho, the same way that he says Captain Caveman, and you'll suddenly realize how stupid you sound at that moment. So that's what they tried to do, is to invoke the Captain Save-A-Ho trait. Is it a trait? Instinct? It's that animal instinct that we have, right? When we see a damsel in distress, us men are wired to go save that chick, right? If there's a chick drowning in an ice-covered lake, we're going to jump in and try to save her. That's just how most of us are wired. They know this. And so what they're going to do is set the conditions to invoke that Captain Save-A-Ho mechanism. I call it the Captain Save-A-Ho syndrome. You tell her that if she will be your girl, she will never have to dance on a pole again. You're going to save her. She's in the middle of that pond. She's falling through the ice, screaming out for your help. Just help me. Here you go, taking off your shirt. It's 0 degrees. You're running. You're going to take a big dive. You're going to save her. You will send her home and Western Union money to her every month. $200 a month is nothing. A few overtime shifts will cover that. You spend 2 or 3 days with the girl before you have to return to your shitty life in the U.S. You start sending her money every month so she can take care of the baby and stay in the village. You've saved her from the grueling life of a bar girl. Captain Save-A-Ho. As soon as you can get her a K-1 fiancé visa, she and the baby will move to America. Now come back down to reality, motherfucker. Come back down to reality. That chick used that line on 3 other guys the same day you met her. She already has 4 suckers sending her money every month. They all think she is in the village taking care of her baby. You just became sucker number 5 who believes the same story. The suckers think they are boyfriends. The girls call them sponsors. Okay, so you show up, you walk through the door of any bar, you're a customer. Don't matter if you make eye contact with the girl and it's like love at first sight and you have what's called a GFE, a girlfriend experience. You are, at the end of the day, nothing more than a customer. And they will talk about you behind your back in a way that would hurt your feelings. You listen to them talk. How much money do you get from him, girl? Is he going to take you shopping? Tell him you got to go shopping. They're coaching and helping each other figure out ways to get money out of your pocket, you, the customer. They're not thinking about long-term marriage and moving to America and watching football games with you. You're a customer. If they can talk you, the customer, into sending money every month, you graduate to being a sponsor. They love you. They love their sponsors. They love the fools sending them money every month, and they have to juggle them. And the more they can juggle, the more money they make. And some of these girls, that's their profession. Some of these girls can get so many sponsors, they don't got to dance on the pole anymore. I mean, think about it. You get 3 good sponsors sending you money. You've only got to maintain 3 lies, 3 separate sets of lies, 3 separate sets of videos. Chatting every day, and you're making good money. You're making 3 salaries. Why wouldn't they? So, want to be a sponsor? There's 4 animals that every woman loves to have. Number 1, they want a mink in the closet. What does that symbolize? Mink coat in the closet. Nice clothes. They want a mink in the closet. That's animal number 1. Number 2, they want a Jaguar in the garage. That's a car for y'all who don't know what a Jaguar is. They want a brand new, very nice car in the garage, right? Jaguar. Number 3, they want a tiger in bed. They want a young dude that looks good, that they get along with, can kick it with, can knock boots with. But number 4, most of all, they need a jackass to pay for it all. Think about that. The jackass to pay for it all. Do they really want that jackass around? No, it's a need. They need somebody to pay for it all. So once you elevate to a sponsor, you're just the jackass that pays for everything. Stay the hell away from bar girls, strippers, and hookers. Make damn sure you don't fall in love with one and get married. Now, at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about what the most important thing to consider and the biggest danger that you face. It's a psychological, just an element I'm not going to give it up now. I'm going to wait till the end of the video. There's one huge danger that most people don't even think about if they fall in love and try to have a relationship or a marriage with a bar girl. I'm going to save that till the end. Okay, let's see. Trust me, there are new Captain Save-A-Hoes arriving in the Philippines every day. Don't be one of them. Again, this just happens to be where I'm at. If I was sitting in Mexico, in Tijuana, I always say at Adelitas, and one of y'all told me that Adelitas is no longer there. But I've fallen in love 100 times at Adelitas before. Every time I walked into Adelitas, I fell in love. All right? But I was smart enough, at least at that point in my life where I was going to Adelitas, I didn't try to marry one of them. I didn't believe their stories. Because that's their job. That's their chosen profession, is to entertain you and get as much money out of your pocket and put into their pocket as they can. That's what their job is. Okay? Let's see. This advice is not specific to the Philippines. You can apply the same advice anywhere in the world. And I'm not picking on Filipinas or singling them out. I'm singling out hookers. A hooker's job is to get your money by any means necessary. She doesn't give a damn about you, your life in the U.S., your hobbies, what you think, the type of music you like. She gives a damn about that cash in your wallet. That's all she cares about. When you sit down next to her in the bar and buy her a drink and she's listening and conversing, oh, this chick seems pretty cool, we're hitting it off. That's her job. Go in there and sit down and don't buy them a drink. Ain't nobody sitting by you. If you go in there and sit down and a girl sits down next to you and buys you a drink and starts talking it up and you never give her any money, okay, maybe you have an argument, but that's not going to happen. That's not what they're there for. They're there to get you to buy them drinks where they make money, or take it to the next level where they make money. But the beauty will blind you. Dudes come over here, they build houses for these bar girls on land that they don't even know who owns the land. I tell these stories, and folks, I'm not making this stuff up. Joe Blow will come over, build a $50,000 house on his wife's land, and then the true property owner will go borrow money against it. I mean, dudes do stupid things here, where they would never do these things in America. Now, there's certain guys who would walk into a strip club in America and do stupid things if a stripper talked to them properly. But for the most part, no, because she's a stripper. But when you leave America, all of a sudden the rules and your common sense just don't apply. Okay, there's 34 comments on the article, and I shut the comments down a long time ago. It's just something I couldn't maintain. But this girl named Ashley says, I knew a Captain Save-A-Ho. He was one of my boyfriends saving his hoes. And Miguel says, what happens if I married one of them? I fell deep in love. I did not read this before. And then Leah, my soon-to-be ex dumped me and the family for a bar girl he thinks is the best thing that's ever happened to him. He's a fool. All I can do is laugh because he's already spent thousands on her. Yeah, buddy, she really loves you. More like she loves the money and the gifts. What a fool. So I got some comments from some ladies. This dude talking about a story. There's so many stories about, how they'll get you to send money. They're never ending. The colloquialism is the sick buffalo. What the Thai girls used to tell everybody, oh, the buffalo's sick. A water buffalo, a carabao, is the equivalent of a tractor. So if the buffalo gets sick and dies, now they can't plow the fields and make money. So, oh, I need medicine for the sick buffalo. And here you go sending money. It's all bullshit, right? So there's just so many stories to invoke the Captain Save-A-Ho syndrome in you to where you're trying to help them. The biggest danger. All right. The biggest danger has to do, okay, if you marry a bar girl, the biggest danger is that her power base, her support network, her sphere of influence, her advice, her friends, her safety net, her security blanket has changed from her family down in the province, mostly good people, to that bar. The bar girls, her peers, the mama-san, the aunties, the rules, the ethics of the bar. Now, ethics are basically rules of the organization, right? Morals come from within. So her ethics and her boundaries, if she spent one night in the bar, become the ethics of the bar and the bar girls, because those are now her peers and her support network. Why? Why is it her support network? Because that's where she makes money. There's no money down in the village to be made. So now her safety and security comes from the bar, the influence, the income that she makes from the bar, and all these older chicks giving her advice on how to get more money out of you. That is the danger. The single most danger is that she's not taking advice from her family anymore. If she needs advice or if the going gets rough, she's calling the bar girls, everybody there. So think about this. Any relationship, at some point, you're going to have an LQ, a lover's quarrel. Show me a relationship where somebody hasn't got into an LQ with their significant other, and it's a relationship that hasn't been around very long. You're going to get in arguments, squabbles, have disagreements. You're going to be at each other's throats at times. And sometimes it gets to the point where somebody leaves the damn house or storms out of the house for the night, right? In a normal relationship, who does the girl turn to? She's going to call mama, right? She's going to call her mother. And she's going to get advice from her mother. Now, her mother is older. Maybe she's still married to the father. Maybe she's got a divorce. She's going to give her motherly advice. Now, if the guy's some asshole and doing fisticuffs with her, well, the mom's going to say, leave that son of a bitch, as she should. But if it's a disagreement over what wallpaper to put in the kitchen and y'all got upset about, the mom's going to calm her down and say, oh, honey, I got into a spat with your father over what color we were going to paint the garage door. Just come on over here. I'll fix you something to eat, and then everything will be all right in an hour or so. And she gets that motherly advice, and she goes to her mother's. Lets the situation calm down, and then eventually y'all going to patch things up, quit arguing about the fucking wallpaper in the kitchen, apologize to one another and get over it, right? And move forward. Same thing with her friends. Unless you're a total monster and her friends are trying to, get her to leave you, the friends are going to help patch things up. That's what friends do, right? There's no perfect relationship. So in a normal relationship, where does she run to? To the family, to good people, mostly good people. And they're going to give her mostly good advice, especially if there's kids involved, why y'all should stay together and work it out. If she's so mad she's got to stay somewhere for the night, she stays at her mama's house. There's no harm in that, no foul. The next day, okay, she comes home, nobody did anything stupid, and all is well. Now I'm painting you a picture of a normal relationship, right? Force G, I'm trying to have a serious talk here. He's digging toys out from underneath the couch. Baby, did you want to make a cameo appearance on my talk about bar girls and marriage? No, she don't have anything to offer. Some of y'all think she used to be a bar girl, but if you've seen her dance, use deductive reasoning skills. No damn bar would hire that girl. She has zero rhythm. She can't sing. And her waitress skills are horrible. This morning, I said, hey, can I get a Coke? She brings me a coffee. Anyhow. When the girl spends one day in the bar, her family, it's like she joined the mafia. It's like she took an oath to be dedicated to the family, the bar girls, that lifestyle. And it's like a blood oath for life. You can't leave it. You can't take that mentality and that coaching out of the girl's brain. You can't take the fact out of her brain that she knows that she could leave you like that and go straight back to that bar and be working with an income around all her friends, a place to stay like that. That simple, that quick. So, you come over here, you met the girl in a bar, and then you move back to the town where she worked in that bar. That's a huge risk. Because y'all get sideways one time and she goes out that gate, and you say some stupid shit, don't come back, which you really don't mean. She's not going down to the province. She's going straight to the damn bar. And she can go straight there. They'll hire her like that. She's up on the pole and can be left with a foreigner by the time you calm down and think about apologizing. You see how dangerous that is? You move the bar girl to your home country. The danger in that is like she's seeing big ass money now. Because you move a beautiful Asian girl to America, every dude is sniffing around trying to figure out how to steal her from you. And when she sees that big money and everything that people are offering, much better life, much better money, more money sent home to the family, what's her ethics? Her ethics are to go where the money is. Why would she stay around with you and help you build your birdhouses and shit when the dude next door who's loaded is saying, hey baby, just come over here. You ain't got to build birdhouses no more. Man, you're going to kick it in the hot tub. I'll send your family $500 a month. How much does he send? $200? Shit, I'll send him $1,000. Boom. And you wonder why she left you. Because that's her chosen profession when you pulled her off the pole. Are you her husband? Or are you just a long-term customer? A long-term sponsor? And the minute she finds a richer sponsor, she's jumping ship. And wherever she jumps to, if she finds a richer one, she's going to jump there too. That's the profession. So that is the danger. I know it took 20 minutes to explain it, but in a nutshell, the danger is her power base shifts from the family to the bar. You see how that works? That's the danger. Get sideways with you. How long does it take to get to Walking Street? What, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? I'm sitting here living with a bar girl. I kick her out, which I really don't want to, but I'm pissed off and drunk. Kick her out the gate. 15 minutes, she'll go straight to that bar and be employed. Be on the damn pole by tonight. By the time you sober up, get up there, she's already went bar filing with somebody. It's over. Where if me and Big Pumpkin get sideways, what does she do? She's on that Facebook talking to her sister, her mother, or what have you. Eventually we'll try to work shit out.
It's what always happens. So there. I hope that I invoke thought during this talk, which is all over the place. I don't write scripts here. I don't have a teleprompter. I don't even know how they work. I've seen pictures of them, and obviously on the movies and stuff. I don't write scripts. I sit down, I hit the record button. I do my best to stare at the lens instead of myself and the screens. And I just talk. That's all I do. I don't have all the answers, but I just want to invoke thought. Either way you take the girl, unless maybe if you go to Adak, Alaska with your bar girl, but even that's not safe because there's not any women in the town, so every dude in the town is going to be trying to steal the girl from you. And if she's a bar girl, she's looking around to see what they got to offer. The good news is there are millions and millions and millions of single ladies around this world who have never sat foot in a bar, much less worked on a pole and chose that as their profession. So there's no need to take that risk. There's enough risk already in a normal relationship than to add all of those problems that come along with the training, the coaching, the mentoring from other bar girls. There's plenty of women in the world. Find you one that don't drink, that ain't never been inside a bar. Literally, you don't have to go very far away from this area to find girls who've never been to Walking Street. Have no idea what's over there. They've never even been there. They've heard about it maybe. You go down to other provinces and other islands and say, hey, you ever been to Angeles City? They don't even know what the hell you're talking about. That's where you need to be finding chicks that have no idea about this life, no idea how the bar works, no idea how much their cousin is making up there. That's the ones you need to find for a long-term relationship. Not the chick holding onto that pole, listening to her sad story. She's there by choice. Oh, there's no job. I watched that Landman episode where old Billy Bob Thornton's sitting in that bar with that attorney chick. And there's a good-looking, 20-something-year-old blonde over there talking to one of his workers. You know, she's a freelance hoe hanging out in the bar. And so he's like, hey, man, how's your wife and her cancer? You know, and screws up the girl's game. She's like, what did I do to you? He's like, get the hell out of here. You're going to sell you do it over there. And his point was, you see all these waitresses in here? All these waitresses in here busting their ass 12, 14 hours a day, just trying to scrape by. And then this chick's coming in here trying to sell her ass for, more money than these waitresses will make in a week. Don't feel sorry for her. That's her chosen profession because she don't want to bust tables for 14 hours a day for less money. So it's like the last people that you really need to save. I used to have a girlfriend that worked in a factory down near Tundo. Her and her mother. And they worked off, there was some type of production, where you get paid based on how much productivity you do. And they were working down there 12, 14 hours a day, whatever it was, grueling work. The minute they come out of there, they just basically collapse. Beautiful, beautiful girl. She could easily walk into the bar and been the top bar chick, went that route. She didn't. Because that's not her chosen profession. She didn't want anything to do with that. That's the type of girl you need to look for. You want to save somebody? You want to be Captain Save-A-Ho? Go down and hang outside one of these factories. You see one of the most beautiful girls you've ever seen dragging her ass out of there after a 14-hour grueling shift, dirty as hell from top to bottom. That's where I'd be hanging out. I'd be sitting in the Carinderias outside some of these bigger factories. Like, hey, how you doing? My name's Mark. They ain't never been inside a bar. Don't know nothing about it.
They just trying to make a living like everybody else. Good morals. Their ethics are from their family, not tainted by other bar girls. Have I talked enough? Is there success stories? Of course there is. Of course there are. Am I making this video and casting stones? Or am I speaking from experience? What y'all think? All right. Most things I talk about are from experience. I'm telling you my life experiences, my failures, my bad decisions, my decisions that were worse than others. I'm not here casting stones, judging anybody. I'm just speaking from experience in many ways. All right? It's our nature to save damsels in distress. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to utilize that instinct to damsels who are in distress. Not damsels who are faking that they're in distress for the sole purpose to get your money. There's a huge difference. Well, I told Big Pumpkin I'm going to be talking to you fine folks out there, and obviously the audio is a challenge. Video is pretty easy, but audio, if you don't have good audio, people just click off the video. It just grates on your ears and your brain. So the minute I told her I was going to sit down and talk to y'all, she goes and sits right outside the window and turns up. She listens to this Tagalog horror stories. And the way the narration goes, it sounds like the man is telling some crazy story. It's horrible. So we get into this little miniature lover's quarrel because I sit down to talk to you and all I hear is this exaggerated, so I go out there, I said, Big Pumpkin, my camera and my viewers and the microphone from my camera do not want to hear that shit. So we get into a little mini LQ about not wanting to hear that in the background. And also it'll take our money. We'll get a copyright claim. She says she cannot work without listening to her Tagalog horror stories about Aswangs, Duendes, the Capres. And then at night, you know, they get scared to go. Anyhow, so I had an LQ with her, finally got that turned off, and then the children come out here to play right here in the flower bed right next to my window. I do my best on the audio, but this is just real life. So if there's a little chatter in the background, hey, deal with it. I'm trying to save your ass, your money, your mental health, your pension, your 401k, your life savings. If I invoke thought in one player out there, I'm giving most of y'all more credit. Most dudes coming over here ain't players. If I invoke thought in one person with anything I do, if I help one person think about a decision they're about to make, a bad decision they're about to make, I win. So that's the purpose, is to invoke thought. What a lot of guys do, because you're pressed for time. I get it. I used to be a 1 week, 2 week millionaire. You know, have 1 week, 2 weeks vacation per year. So when you roll out, you have a pocket full of money, but you don't got time. And what I talked about just recently in a video is, if you come over to a place, you've been chatting one chick and it doesn't work out on day one, now you only have a week left. Now what do? And what guys do is just go straight for the easy solution, straight to the bar. And then that's how they fall in love with these bar chicks. A lot of people come over to a place like this with intentions of meeting a nice girl, or they've been chatting with a nice girl, and for whatever reason it don't work out, and now you're just here alone. You're straight to the nearest bar and you fall into this trap. And that's why I talk about, if you're seriously looking for a girlfriend, you're going to leave your home country and go spend 1 or 2 weeks You chat with 3 different chicks. I mean, chat with a bunch, but narrow it down to 3. And you say, okay, I'm going to arrive on the 1st. The 1st through the 5th, I'm going to spend it with Sally. The 6th through the 10th, I'm going to go visit Jane. The next few days, I'm going to go visit Jennifer. And then the last 5 days, I'm going to pick 1 out of the 3, and that's going to be my girl. I'm going to spend the last 5 days with my winner to make sure that I pick the right one. So when you leave, you go back and now you're focused on Jennifer or Jane or whoever you picked. But if you spend the last 5 days with the chick and then you spend some more time, you're like, nah, fuck, maybe this is not my girl. Then you continue chatting the 2. Or maybe you rule one out and you focus on the other. When you see how that works, you got to have multiple options because you only got a week or 2 weeks. Yeah, you'll have to drop 2 of the 3 and maybe hurt their feelings. But the reality is those girls are chatting multiple people too, because most guys that they are chatting are lying to them. So if a girl is chatting, I'd say 100 people that they meet online, there might be 1 who actually has a passport and can afford a plane ticket to come meet them. So most of everything these girls are told by guys when they're just chatting online are lies. They're just leading them along. They're never coming here. They don't have a passport. They don't got the money. They're just wasting their time. So don't feel bad if you're chatting 3 and come over and meet 3 and narrow it down to who you want to focus on. Don't feel bad about that, because each of those 3 chicks are chatting dozens of dudes the same time they're chatting you. They have to. And a lot of times it's whoever shows up first. It's the early bird gets the worm. That's just the way it is. You go with the bird in hand, not 10 in the bush, because those 10 in the bush might not ever show up. That goes for you and the girl. So they're talking about birds in the bush and there's this bird in the background. All right, that's what I got to say. I hope everybody enjoyed the talk. I want to thank you for joining me. If you don't mind, smash that like button, hit that like button, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ring them bells like Rocky. Here we go. Yo, Adrian, it's me, Rocky. Who's that ringing that bell? There you go. That's my performance to get you to subscribe and ring that bell. Leave a big old long comment down below too. What do you think? Life is short. In the end, life is short. If you I believe in love at first sight. I do. I mean, I fall in love all the time. I truly believe in love at first sight. But if you want to play the laws of probability, allow the love at first sight principle to take place anywhere but inside a bar or an establishment that has a pole for the purposes of dancing. A lot of times when I go to strip clubs, right, the bars, whatever the hell you want to call them, you know, I wear my sunglasses. I walk in there wearing sunglasses. I don't want them chicks making eye contact with me. It's like a shield to break the love at first sight. I don't care what they say. I'm a celebrity anyhow. I walk in there with my sunglasses on. Now they can't make eye contact with me and try to see into my soul. Try it out. It works for me. Because I walk in there without them sunglasses on, I fall in love with a girl closest to the door. It happens to us, fellas. We do shows occasionally about stories we hear and watch on Rafi Tulfo's show. If you've never been to the Philippines, you're booking your first trip to come over here and meet your digital chat mate. She's not your fiance. She's a chat mate. Until you meet that person In person, that's day one of your relationship. So if you're chatting a chick, it's not an LDR. There's no such thing. You have a chat mate, a pen pal. Back in my day, you used to write letters to people over in Africa. You know, you had a pen pal. Okay, you wrote letters, you never met them, but it was fun. Sit down and watch some episodes of the Rafi Tulfo show. How you spell it? Raffytulfo. Watch Mr. Tulfo's show. It's like sort of like Jerry Springer with some common sense and like negotiations applied. There's a little bit of everything, but watch the show with the Americans on there. You know, most of them are Tagalog and local folks. But the funny ones are when the Americans have a problem with their Filipina. They've lost money, they lost their house, found out that their Filipino wife has a local husband, that kind of stuff. You need to sit down and watch Rafi Tulfo. Just go in there. Maybe what I should do is do a playlist for you. I could if I can find some time. Do a playlist of all the Rafi Tulfo episodes concerning Americans that I think, well, they're all good learning points. But, maybe pick the top 10. And I'll just start recommending, hey, anybody who's coming over here, before you come over here, you watch this playlist. And most of the videos will be from Mr. Tulfo's show. And let him and his staff, and obviously the people involved, teach you some very important life lessons so you don't end up on the Rafi Tulfo show. I'd love to go on this show for whatever reason. I had Team Nutcase a couple years ago threaten to take us on the Rafi Tulfo show because they had both fallen in love with Flo. They were fighting over Flo and both sending their money, and then when they found out, they got jealous of one another and threatened to go on Rafi Tulfo. Anyhow, I did a video about it. I was praying to God that somehow or another they got us on Rafi Tulfo. I'd have 5 million subscribers by now. Never happened. Team Nutcase, what happened to you? You got scared away by one damn video. My gosh. And there's a couple more videos too. Maybe I should put in that playlist. The one where the former bar girl ended up killing her husband here in AC. Well, he got killed down in Manila, but they were living here in AC. That's an old video, like 20 years ago. But the concepts still apply. She whacked the foreign husband because she had a security guard boyfriend. So, whacked the foreign guy. Now we're rich and can live happily ever after. That's a great video to watch as well. There you go. That's my talk. I'll see you fine folks on the next one. Leave your comments down below. And peace out, my friends. Good luck to you. But life is short. The flip side is, you walk into Lollipop and fall in love with the girl closest to the bar, roll the dice. Roll the dice. I recommend you go marry that chick right now. If you do, I'll dance at your wedding. What you got to lose, especially if you're 85 years old? You ain't got nothing to lose. Go marry that chick, man. Make an honest woman out of her. I'm out of here.